Fear and Hunger is a horrific game, but a really good one as well. If for whatever reason you clicked on this video having no idea what this game is, there's a couple videos you should watch about it, but in general, if you want to play a game that is terrifying, challenging, and punishing to the point where sometimes, even if you do the absolute right thing, the actual coin flip mechanics of the game will just say fuck you. This could be the one. This could be your game. I think the reason that this game is so good is because it makes you engage with it. You will not be able to progress in this game if you do not throw yourself against its walls, do not read every single one of its books, but the more you do, the more you'll understand each and every little thing going on. Unlike basically any other RPG where you fight things, you do not gain experience and get stronger for no reason. The only way you are going to be better at Fear and Hunger is by learning Fear and Hunger. But despite how much I've enjoyed the original game, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece if not solely due to all the technical issues and bugs within the first one, but I much prefer Fear and Hunger 2 Termina anyway. The setting's more interesting, the scope is much broader, and I think the 3-day mechanic that is over-encompassing the entire game really sells it. And you know, as much as Fear and Hunger 2 really does improve on a lot of the bugs and optimization problems from the first time I played it looked like this, which yes was my fault, I should have played it on a better computer, but this is really funny. But for those of you in my audience that have actually played Fear and Hunger, you've laughed at it before, right? Whether it was some insane maniacal laugh after losing hours of progress to utter bullshit, or maybe it's because you read a vial of red vial, or maybe it's like that one time I played Karen and I got like crucified, but then I was a ghost and I walked around until I got into a fight and then I got thrown into a bunch of pigs to be eaten while I was also being crucified still. That was a banger. I could not hold myself back. But there is something about this game that brings out a joy in me. Obviously, when I'm immersing myself in a brand new horror game, as long as it's a good one, the most I'm gonna feel is horrified. But there's these little things, like the fact that your hunger can't be 69% just because fuck you. Or the fact that after a boss fight, I proceed to slit my neck open, heal it, and then get drunk 6 times over and over in front of the rest of my party, and nobody says a goddamn word about it. I'm not trying to make the claim that Fear and Hunger is trying to be a horror game, but something so immersive, having these occasional moments of goofy bullshit, makes me gut bust. And I'm just excited to see more. Fear and Hunger 2 is not even completed yet. There are constant updates from the developer, and everything I see I'm like, wow, this shit's gonna be even more expansive somehow. So why the hell am I excited for Fear and Hunger 3? Well, to get there, we're gonna have to take 2 steps back. Lisa the Painful is one of my favorite games of all time. It's an apocalyptic turn-based RPG Maker game that has just too many similarities to Fear and Hunger to ignore. Well, it is not a horror game by definition. If you're looking for a game with terrifying moments that loves to fuck with the player, like one that doesn't let you rest safely or make any decision easily, one where losing your limbs is not only an intentional choice you can make, but one that affects you in combat for the entire rest of the game, on top of a plot that all culminates into some strange little girl that you just found having some gigantic purpose. That's not just Fear and Hunger. That's also Lisa the Painful. But while Lisa the Painful is not, by definition, a horror game, I would say it's a comedic one. You probably wouldn't think it from the noose on the title screen, the immediate child abuse, bullying, drug addiction, and also apocalypse. But as soon as that whole cutscene's over, You're introduced to this character, the Lord of the Tutorials, who proceeds to cover the entire world with helpful tutorial flyers, like, you can pick up bottles and don't be alarmed, you do want to fuck me. While Lisa can both be horrific in the ways of I want to go out on a walk and think about what I just saw, and I want the lights to be on really, really bright, the comedic aspect of it is a massive part. On one hand, your main character will be having traumatic, guilt-induced flashbacks 24/7, and then on the very next screen, some dude will walk up and kick you in the dick. And of course, you're not letting them get away with that shit. I'm kicking him in the dick. So this game is one part pain and one part comedy. But I think where those things come together is Nern. This is Nern. Do not talk to Nern, because if you do, you will be in a 15 goddamn minute cutscene where this dude just yaps and yaps and yaps about all the shit he has experienced in his goddamn life with no goddamn point in the slightest. And then you turn to leave, and guess fucking what? You want to hear another story, don't you? Fuck you, nerd! And finally, you're walking away. You have finally escaped the hell that is dialogue boxes. And God fuck! By making the player the butt of the joke, the game can perfectly go between the dramatic and the comedic by putting them together. There's a lot of jokes in this game that you, the player, would laugh at. But there's also a lot of jokes that you, the player, would be laughed at if you were playing. And that's proven time and time again, because every few years, some notorious YouTuber will find this game, make a video about it, and it will be some of their most successful shit out there. And I can't help but think that the full minute of climbing a rope only to get a middle finger to the face is a reason for that. Olathe, the location this game takes place, is a place of depravity. There are few trustworthy people, and that number plummets the second a girl is spotted. Your girl. Your daughter that you found. The plot of this game is truly incredible. There are just little animatics that cover the basic points of the game that managed to make me sob every single time, even to the soundtrack of the people that made the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme. So if this game is interesting to you, go play it. This game is a masterpiece. The writing's incredible, both comedic and dramatic. The music all sounds directly like it came from one of your party members' PCs. The plot makes me cry. There is nothing better I can say about this game than just go play it. It's literally available on every console, Steam. You could play it on your goddamn phone if you want. But it doesn't sound that much like Fear and Hunger. There are those tense, horrific moments on occasion, but it plays it much straighter with the constant comedic relief. It shows the beginning of what I see in Fear and Hunger 3, but not the full picture. So let's take one more step back. Yume Nikki is one of the most influential games of all time. Not necessarily due to having a super broad mechanics that you can find in any modern video game, but because there are hundreds of fan games directly linked back to Yume Nikki. Hundreds of people saw this game and wanted to make their own version. But what actually is Yume Nikki? Well, it's an experience that some wouldn't even classify as a game. Taking the simple concept of falling asleep and exploring some endless dreamscape that is within the main character's mind. That's really all there is to it. There's really no combat, little to no puzzles, just good and overwhelmingly horrific vibe that gets exuded from its surreal imagery and often unsettling music. The core principle of the game, which is staring into the consciousness or unconsciousness of someone, is what struck a chord with so many people over 2 decades ago when this game came out. So with this simple but very broad and effective idea, on top of RPG Maker being a relatively easy software to learn and make a game, especially one this simple within, boom! There is technically a story in Yume Nikki, there's an ending, but there are very few through lines to get there. The best you can do is take the few concrete moments that you do know that happen and try to weave together some of the imagery from the dreams to connect them. But I think a lot of people just like exploring this endless world. The fact that this game can run on basically any computer means that I could just zone out while walking endlessly in some weird-ass world. And the fan games really reflect that. I can explore a dream where it's colorful and happy, or has math, or where there's a bunch of other people from all around the world. This is the influence of Yume Nikki. It may be a small, free, and simple game in scope, but the fact it was so simple made this idea lightning in a bottle, connecting to every single person with a creative bone in their body who played it. We're to the point where you don't even have to download that free game. You can just look up Yume Nikki online and play one of a dozen different fan games online in your browser. So hey, there's an obvious question here. If I'm here talking about Yume Nikki and its gigantic mountain of fan games, what's the best one? Or at the very least, my favorite? Personally, I'd have to go with Lisa. Lisa the First is, believe it or not, the first Lisa game, and it's just as disturbing as one might expect upon recognizing her character from the earlier title screen. It features the top-down exploration elements from Yume Nikki, but it really hammers home the fact that something is deeply wrong through these isolated landscapes. But I'll let you discover that for yourself, because if you're interested, it's free on Steam. Lisa the First, Lisa the Painful, and the additional DLC Lisa the Joyful is all of the content spanning the series, and the man who made it has gone on to new things. So that's the end of the series, right? Lisa the Pointless is a game that asks you why you live. Completely devoid of the Armstrong family of previous games, it spends its time arguing with you about the validity of a better world through the eyes of a man living on Garbage Island. With its own twists in writing, its firm companionships, and enough lore to crush a small child, it is a game worth playing regardless of the Lisa series. And not only have fans loved it, but it's gotten to the point where the creator has praised and canonized the game. But that's where the story ends. Especially with new developers remastering Lisa and protecting their IPs, Lisa games aren't gonna be coming out all the time. I'm not making this to say that each and every game with Lisa the in the title is an absolute masterpiece, but there are a lot of good games that you can get in this series for absolutely free. There's just also the other games I've played for footage. Wait, wasn't this video supposed to be about Fear and Hunger? Alright. You want 3 reasons? I got 3 reasons I'm excited for Fear and Hunger 3. Let's do this. It should not come as a shock that fans are a massive thing when it comes to any game, but with RPG Maker games specifically, fans don't just spell out commercial success, but more and more games built on top of any given series, and Fear and Hunger is no exception. You can already see artists replicating the style, or those who actually know how to use the software modding in characters, or just making a more complete version via bug fixes. But even if you just look at the previously mentioned Lisa community, you look at the animatics or the analysis videos, and you look at the same creators' pages, boom! Fear and Hunger's there too. Fear and Hunger 3 is inevitable, and if we're being honest, the only reason it doesn't already exist is because the furry game just didn't call itself that. No game takes advantage of player blindness like Fear and Hunger. There are certainly games that benefit from you being unaware of the twists and turns of its stories, but Funger is a game where not only you read and internalize the story, but one in which every action you perform, every book you read, and every pixel on the screen is a piece of information that could be hiding run-altering secrets. And fan games are never as relevant as the source material, so YouTube tutorials and wiki entries won't be an option, meaning that the player will be forced to have a completely wholesome experience within a new world. And since some really good YouTube videos robbed a lot of players of their initial experiences, I would love to have a game that takes advantage of that blindness. In a world with gods so indescribable in scope that mere traces of them can exist within reality, and those traces will kick your ass, you don't want to try looking further in the curtain? Each party member of the first game has their quote-unquote ending. Based on the consequences we see in Termina, we can assign each party member their canon ending out of a possible 6, but in reality, we've played those other 5 endings, so why ignore them? Fear and Hunger 3 could be as simple as looking at Termina from the perspective of one of those different endings. What happens in a universe where Kahara lives? How do you navigate Termina in a world where skin Bibles aren't crafted by Enki? Would the world even be recognizable as Fear and Hunger in a world where Lagarde actually dies? There are endless hypothetical questions one can conjure up with just these basic principles. So show me those hypotheticals, make these worlds, show different consequences, and take your imagination as far as it can go. Terrify me so hard that I shudder at the name alone. So basically, I'm trying to say, the Fear and Hunger 3 is real!